So I'm seeing a dangerous narrative forming concerning Epstein Files, and that narrative is that this is a man problem. It's because men are horrible that this is happening. Um, I want to talk about that because it's obviously wrong, but also it's kind of disgusting when you look at it. A few other things here. These people, they like to add white to everything that they don't like. So they will typically say that these white men, these rich white men, and I also don't like people who are rich. So we're going to talk about that because this is not a man this is not an all men problem. These are not men, these are monsters, and they're not all males, by the way. So, yeah, there are some other things, some other lies that are being spread now on social media and in mainstream media as well. Um, and what's his name? Critical, Moist Critical. He called this out, I think, yesterday or the day before. Um, And yeah, they're saying we have released 3.5 million files. We have released all of the files. I'm hearing different statements now, but that's not true. They have released about 2% of the material that the FBI has on Epstein. 2%. So there's a lot more. Let's say hello to the good people here in the in the chat. Angela, KP Heathen. KP Heathen, if you can reach out to me, that would be awesome. Just send me an email. I have something for you. So, Laura, Horror Business, Renee, Scott, good to see you all. Stephen. So, yeah, okay. If you look at this, the horrible it creates it's almost okay. So let's talk about the crimes first. So by now, I guess that we are aware what's been going on, and I will say it because we need to talk about this, even though it's difficult. So we knew about the trafficking of underage girls and women. We knew about that. How they provided very, very young girls, so children, to these people. We knew about that, but what seems to be surfacing now is that they also were killing people. So they have been killing people, and there are numerous references in these files to cannibalism, eating babies. And if someone had told me this, a few weeks ago, I would have thought that that's crazy. That's a conspiracy theory. I don't believe that. Honestly, I would not have believed it because it's so far out there, and you don't want to believe that things like that is going on. And but now I think that we we need to be honest with ourselves. And we hear about sometimes, the police, they catch, serial killers that have been doing unspeakable things to their victims. And what we're looking at here is most likely that, but organized. Organized. And I think that the attraction here is about power. Um, these people who are bad people to begin with, very bad people, they get a kick out of doing things that nobody else would have gotten away with. And when they do these things, they get a kick out of that because they feel powerful, and they know that they can do whatever they want, and they're above other people. They're above the law and so on. So that's the attraction, I think. Someone who, a psychiatrist, something like that, would probably be able to explain it in a better way. And maybe there are other things that goes into this, into the mindset of these monsters. But what I want to say here is that there is a statement being spread on social media now, which is a dangerous statement, and it's the following: everyone, actually, it goes like this: everyone, so quote unquote, everyone in that position would have become corrupt and possibly also would have been partaking in things like this. That's a very dangerous statement because it's not true. The fact here is that no, most people are not like that. Only a small minority of people are like that. Okay. And they also like to say that this is a problem with men. And I saw some fake statistics, must be fake, that I can't remember, 1 in 5 or something, 1 in 5 men, was it that 1 in 5 would have had sex with an underage girl, like, so under the age of sexual consent or whatever it's called. And I don't think that's true. I refuse to believe that that's true. And you may call me naive, but I don't think so. And I'm, you know, I'm more than 50 years old. and and it's like, honestly, I'm not, and this, I can't believe I have to say this, but it's like I'm a man and you could say I'm middle-aged. I'm not attracted to a 16-year-old girl. To me, they're children. And I'm willing to bet that most other grown men are feeling the same way, you know? Um, of course, when I was 16 years old, I was attracted to same age girls, of course. You know, it's like, come on, you can't, these people they need to stop spreading this lie that men are monsters, that men have this evil in them, that no, so this is that's a dangerous statement, and they need to stop saying that. What seems to be going on here is that in order to be part of this club, in order to get into these positions of power, you're vetted and you're sort of tested a little bit. They see what kind of person you are. And if you are a bad person, if you are someone who seems to not mind, narcotics being spread all around the place at a party, they check one box. And if you don't mind uh, prostitutes in being sent around, they check another box. And if you seem to not even mind very young prostitutes, they check the third box, and then maybe you're on you're allowed into their club. And these people, they have dirt on each other, and that's how this system works. So no, it's not all men. It's not all men. And they also need to stop saying it's a white man, because it's obviously not only white men. So Oprah Winfrey, for instance, she's been involved. She is deep in into this. Her um, spiritual advisor, I can't remember the name now. Maybe you can help me out in the chat. He was he's in prison now, I believe in Brazil. He's in prison uh, because he was running a baby farm. I'm not kidding. So they kidnapped girls, made them pregnant, and they sold the babies. That's evil on a. Now, I'm not a Christian, but if I was, I would hope for these people to burn in hell. And it's evil on a. I don't think we can comprehend, and we shouldn't try to comprehend what's going on in the minds of these people. They, the, they say you shouldn't dehumanize other people, but this is where I think we should. I don't think we should see these as people. I mean, you have to be. Yeah, I can't explain it. I don't know what's going on there. I can only say that these are monsters. And Oprah Winfrey, did she know? Yeah, that's the thing. It's these people who have been involved with all of this. They say I didn't know. I, yeah, okay. It's like the Norwegian crown princess. She didn't know. She didn't know. Yeah, sure. Yeah, she's lying. They're all. I mean, I think most of them are lying about that. I think they knew, and I think that they knew very well that these people had dirt on them, so they couldn't tell. And maybe they didn't want to. Maybe they don't care about people who are held as slaves, as cattle being bred. And, there's this meme going around with Oprah Winfrey. It says there's a picture of her with these sexual predators, and she seemed to have been friends with all of them. And Oprah has, and it says Oprah has above the pictures. It says Oprah has the worst luck in picking friends, and there's a comment underneath. You're so close. Yeah. Just a little bit more of thinking there, and then you have arrived at the truth, right? Oh yeah, Hillary Clinton. Yeah, I knew about Hillary Clinton and a long time ago, and I've always thought that she is a person lacking of empathy completely, and that's because of the video clip or the sound. You can hear her laughing. She defended um, a rapist, and she was laughing at the poor girl. So I think she's one of the worst out there, actually. Yeah. And also, people need to stop to try to make this as a Republicans versus Democrats thing. It's not. These people, they are all part of the same club. And they need to be torn down. They need to be put in jail. And I'm not. I do not support the death sentence by principle, because I don't think any state should have that kind of power. But yeah, I'm not going to finish that sentence, because these people, they don't deserve to be alive. But yeah, put them in jail, throw away the key. Let's see here. So yeah, So if it's true that only 2% of the material that the FBI has on this has been released, there is a lot more to come because they have opened the box now, Pandora's box, and I think they did it because they thought they could control which information comes out, but you know they can't. They can't, and it shows how little they think of other people, like me and other YouTubers, much larger YouTubers, of course, and they think that these people like Pam Bondi and Trump and so on, they think that they can control the narrative. Maybe they wanted to do it as part of vilifying the Democrats, and their plan backfired tremendously. So at this point, if you're defending Trump, I think you are very naive. If you're defending any of the top politicians, the Democrat top politicians, you're also very naive. And I see some people are now highlighting Obama as the perfect president and all of that. If you do that, you're being very naive. So no, we need to be able now to understand that this is about how people are kept down under the iron heel of the state, while people in their little club, well, it's quite a big club actually, they do what they like. And this is a turning point for us. This is when things need to change. And I'm so certain that it works like I described a few minutes ago, that they kind of test you a little bit to see if you will fit in their club. They kind of test you. And now, I've been tested in my life. I have been tested in such ways, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I've been with people who are part of that club, but I've seen, as a novelist, I've met a lot of different people in parties and so on, and I always leave with the feeling that I was excluded. I was not. They sensed that I'm not the person that they want in their club, because I'm not going to accept, for instance, the drugs. I'm not going to accept immoral actions. In fact, if I saw someone using drugs, I would report it to the police there and then. I do not care about these people, and that's what they are sensing. That's what they are sensing. So I'm never invited. I'm never going to be part of their club. And also, I don't want to. Now, I'm not a perfect human being in the sense that, I stand on this moral high ground, but I have some standards. And if you've been following me here, you know that, for instance, I mentioned drugs, and it seems like these people in certain places, they like that. And I've never tried drugs. I'm never going to. I think it's wrong and it's evil. And you might disagree, but if you do, you're very naive. So that's one thing, and another thing is that I I believe we should all be the sort of people who can't be bought. And I've also been tested in such a way, and I've like someone wanted to buy the rights forever for one of my for three of my books, quite a substantial amount of money. But no, they can't buy it forever because then they could do whatever they want with my books as adapting them to the screen. So no, you're not going to get those rights because integrity matters more than money, right? So yeah, I have been tested. So the people out there are saying that, oh, everyone in a position, everyone who gets some power get corrupt. No, not everyone. Not everyone. I know for a fact there are good people out there. They are fighting a battle. They are fighting a battle against that club. They are. And those people should be, those are the people we should vote for if they are politicians. You know? So this is actually very, very simple. Some things are okay, and other things are not okay. And we should never let money or any other kind of temptation let us deviate from our moral standards. So let's see here. Yeah, Jeffrey says, if you are MAGA and here tonight, this stuff will hurt your worldview. Be careful. Yeah. Um, yeah. Elk Love says, they laugh at us on live TV when this is mentioned. They think it's hilarious how powerless we are. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we have the uh, the genie is out of the bottle and all that. Yeah, cocaine. Okay, so yeah, I know it's very popular among these people. Those who like to call themselves artists and so on. You know what? If you do that, you're a fucking disgusting individual, and you need a big, good old punch in the face, maybe more of them, and I would deliver those punches for free. Yeah. You know why? Why? Because you're supporting, I don't care that you're destroying your own health, but you're supporting an industry that is so evil. I mean, they hang people and cut their bellies open in that industry. It's so evil, and they take advantage of very poor people. So if you use that substance, you're part of that, and you deserve numerous big old punches right in the nose for a long time. It's that simple. It is really that simple. And this should be easy. This should be easy to understand. Even a child will, well, children understand this much better than certain grown-ups. Okay. So, what else is there? Yeah. So we need to call out these people who are saying that, yeah, all men, this is a problem with men. No, it's not, because many, many women were involved in this, facilitating this, and maybe also partaking in this. Like, we know that Ghislaine Maxwell was partaking in the things they did to these girls. And power corrupts. Yeah, power corrupts some people or many people, but not all people. And the thing that this is about white men, no, it's clearly not white men. It's clearly not white men. Look at the names; they're not all white. So And also, it seems like only 2% of the material has been released. Um, so, yeah, what seems to also be a thing here with Epstein is that he was into eugenics. Eugenics, in the sense that they seem to have had an interest in race theory. Um, Race theory in this, we're talking Nazi Germany here. It's so dark and disgusting and evil that it's difficult to comprehend. And then we have this curious comment from the Norwegian crown princess, who seems to have been Epstein's mistress for a long time. And I'm just saying it as it is. Why the hell? It's obvious. She wrote, thank you for the commentary in the chat, reminding me of that. She wrote that, in a few years, people won't be able to have children anymore. So, it's scary stuff. Also, of course, Epstein was involved with Bill Gates. Why is Bill Gates not behind bars? Why? Why the hell are these people not behind bars? But Mountains of Elysium, that professor should be fired and put in jail. But Epstein and Bill Gates, they were collaborating on monetizing future pandemics, and they were, quote unquote, what's the word, running, what's the word when you test they were running test scenarios of pandemics and how it could be monetized. And I've said before, I'm going to apply some code talk here, because that almost cost me my main channel. The COVID vaccine, the mRNA vaccine, seems to have, they tested that on cats, and it did something to those cats' ability to conceive, to have babies, And now, of course, you can wonder, why is the birth rates falling so much? Some people would say that Billy Bob's cough medicine has something to do with it. That's enough code language for now. The good thing about AI is that it's stupid, and you can. It's easy to talk around it. So hopefully I won't get a strike on my channel for saying what I just said. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know how the law works in the USA, but why are these people not being prosecuted? Why are they? The police haven't even. Why have the police not gotten down to Bill Gates' mansion and dragged him to the police station for interrogation? Why Trump? I know why they can't do that with Trump. They should, but it's because the American president is protected, apparently. But they should be standing there waiting when his term is over, if he's still alive by then, and they should handcuff him and bring him in right there when the new president takes over. They shouldn't even wait a second. But we all know this is not going to happen because, you know, they are protected. But you can try not paying your taxes in time. Try doing that. Try driving a little bit too fast. No, you shouldn't do that. I'm just trying to make my point here. Don't drive too fast. But if you do drive too fast, and you're caught, you get a hefty fine. You know, as you should, I think. And I have done that. I'm guilty. I have driven too fast, and I've been fined twice or three times. 3 times, I think. But, you know, and I accept those fines because I shouldn't drive too fast. But it happens. But my point here is that, you know, if you do things like that you didn't mean to do, you know, and it's let's face it, it's minor. Those are minor offenses. I think we can agree. There are immediate consequences for you. Immediate. And I think that's right. It should be like that. If you're driving, you're basically inside a big weapon, you know. So yeah. But when you can't compare that to what these people have been doing. You know? But the only person in jail is Ghislaine Maxwell. The only person I know that has been prosecuted is Torbjørn Jagland, so the former Norwegian prime minister. He's a Labour Party man. He's been charged for corruption here in Norway. But this is not only the tip of the iceberg. It is those are two snowflakes on top of the iceberg. You know. Yeah, they're saying that Ghislaine Maxwell is not the one in jail now, and they're saying that Epstein is alive. He has a gray beard, and so on. I don't know about that. I wouldn't be too surprised if that was the truth, but you know, I honestly don't know. Yeah, let's. So I have a police attorney in my family, and I know a little bit about how you construct evidence. No, not how you construct your case and how you present evidence. So most people, they think that evidence is like the smoking gun. You know, the killer is standing there with a smoking gun, and the person who's been shot is lying there. No, that's not how it works. Well, in some cases, but very rarely. The way evidence is actually most often, and this is how I've had it explained to me. Evidence is lots of small pieces put together. And when they are put together, they form an image of what's been going on. Yeah, so not constructing evidence. You construct your case and you present evidence. That's what I meant to say. Okay, so when people say that there is no evidence because you're just having a lot of different people saying things, and you have flight logs and so on. So none of that is evidence. Well, not that's not how it works actually, because a lawyer's so a police attorney will put all these pieces together and present those to the court. That's the evidence. So, in other words, with these people in these files, I I believe that many of them, with many of them now, they could be brought in before court, and the police attorney would then present these pieces and the evidence, those being the evidence. You understand what I'm saying here? A lawyer would be able to word it in a better way, but that's the principle. Okay. The camera is much improved, less dark. Yeah, I've turned up the light, and that's let's face it, nobody is watching this because of my face, but I turned up the light. Uh, yeah, because I don't have a migraine today. So, okay. So on the thumbnail, I put Epstein and Oprah, you know. Let's see here. Yeah, Pam Bondi, not liked at all. Yeah. So you want to hear something crazy? In Norway, several people have been involved in with Epstein, and I think it boils down to the Norwegian pension fund, and I think that Epstein and the people behind Epstein, like Israel, they wanted access to the Norwegian pension fund. It's one of the one of the biggest investment funds in the world. That's why I think that they were so interested in Norway. But one one of those people who've been involved for the longest time, and with Epstein, is a diplomat called Terje Rød Larsen. He's in one of those Arab states. One of those Arab states. I can't remember which one. And he's down there now, living in luxury. And he's like this horrible, disgusting human being who was deeply involved with trafficking these girls and all of that. And it's like, why the hell is he there? It annoys me. Why is he not in jail again? Why is he not in jail? You know, a deeply corrupt individual, a disgusting human being, and now he's living in luxury in one of those Arab states. They don't care about, in the Arab states, obviously, they don't care about if someone has been raping underage girls. They don't care about that, or facilitating that. They have different moral standards, or should I say, a lack of moral standards in the Muslim countries. We all know that. So, yeah, it annoys me. I think he should be in jail. So, and also, why is it so difficult for mainstream media to point out the fucking obvious that Epstein was deeply involved with Mossad and Israel? Why is that so difficult? Isn't that's so strange? uh, yeah. Um, yeah. Sleeping Giant. George Collins said, if honesty were suddenly introduced into American life, the whole system would collapse. Yeah, but not just American life. And was it Pam Bondi who said that, if we prosecuted all these people, the whole system would collapse or something like that. That's what she said. And I'm like, I'm already convinced that they should prosecute all these people. You don't have to sell it to me, Yeah, let the system collapse. I want that system to collapse because it's an evil system, you know. Is it a rumor that she said that? It's not verified, but it's true. I don't know. These days it's difficult to know. There is so much AI, fake AI. We have all been fooled by AI videos at this point. Pam Bondi did not say that. Yeah, okay. That's not the point. That's not the point. My chair, you can't see my chair. That's my sleeping. Some quilts behind me and a sleeping bag. The point is not whether she said it or not. If the system would collapse if they prosecuted all these people, yeah, let it collapse. Let it collapse. Let it collapse. Maybe if we tear these people down, all of them, maybe we could get some good people running the countries. Maybe we could get some people. Oh, just a squirrel on the roof. Yeah, they're very active now because we only have this week here now with cold weather, and on Friday it will get warmer, which I'm looking forward to. Where was I? Yeah, maybe we could get some good people into those positions of power. And you know what? Here's a change that needs to happen. There should be no money incentive into political positions. No money incentives. So if I was elected for I'm not a politician, but this is just, a thought experiment. Or, if I was elected for Stortinget, that's the Norwegian Congress, I would accept to be paid the median, or no, the average. Let's say just the average income, average yearly income, nothing more, nothing less, nothing more, because that's how it should be. Then also you would know how normal people have it, how they are struggling or not struggling. So yeah, no insider trading, no extra bonuses, nothing like that. And then if you take away the money incentive, you would get people into those political positions who actually care. They're not there for the money. So Um, yeah, so it's like we are paying taxes to support. I saw another meme where you're paying taxes to support pedophile politicians. um, it's crazy. Now, I'm not saying no money. Ghost user, not saying no money. Um, I'm saying they should get paid the exact average of the people in their nation. The exact average. That's what they should get paid. They shouldn't need any more than that, because that's what the average citizen has. Um, yeah, so there are ripple effects here. So the Norwegian Conservative Party, they just a few days ago, they elected their new leader, which is a close friend of one of the corrupt people, the wife of this Terje Rød Larsen, who was involved in the trafficking of these girls. You can't make this shit up, and it's like, I think everyone is just laughing at that, because how to kill a political party. That's how we do it. She's a typical corrupt globalist politician. So yeah, let them. They will be learning that people don't like that. I think this is what we're seeing now is a shift. I think in our culture even, because the trust in these people have been destroyed, as it should be. It should happen a long time ago. And in Norway, where sadly the support for the royal family has been very strong, not so anymore. Most people, I believe, they support they support a monarchy, but not the crown princess. Which means that when the crown princess becomes the queen, which she will be, because this is an automatic system, they're born into it, and she is the wife of this of the guy who was born into it. Then there won't be that much support for the monarchy anymore. As I've said many times, we could just get rid of the monarchy right now. Now, I actually like the king. He's a very old man. He's nearly 90 years old now. So, let him be king as long as he lives. But after he passes, then let's not have a monarchy anymore. We could just have a president. We actually already have a president in Norway who has a non-political. It's a non-political position, which I think is a good thing. Yeah, and I think he seems to be doing a good job, So, isn't that like in Finland? If I'm not mistaken, the president has this ceremonial, non-political role. Yeah. So, yeah, another thing about these royals that people should be aware of is that they are very often connected to the World Economic Forum. And the leader who took over for Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum is a Norwegian called Børge Brende, who is also being investigated for corruption and his ties to Epstein. So they have the Young Leader program there in the World Economic Forum. And it's very interesting when you look at that. Those people who were in the Young Leader program, they all are in very powerful positions now, like Putin in Russia. He was one of those. The Crown Prince was there, and the feminized Canadian, was it the Prime Minister? Yeah, the guy who was there, with who worked as a actor, teacher, whatever. What was his name? Kevin, you need to take care of your health and not do stupid things. Okay. And I was putting in a timeout for that. Justin Trudeau. Trudeau, yes. So, yeah, John says they were all there, all selected. So this all goes against the principle of democracy. And I still believe that democracy is the method. Democracy is not an ideology, democracy is a method. It's of electing people to represent you. It's the best system that we have at this point. So when you have things like this happening where people seem to be just put into those positions, that's not democracy. That's the globalists and their interests making decisions for you. No, Galadriel, communism is not a form of democracy. Communism is an ideology, and within communism, you cannot have democracy. Well, in principle, you can have democracy at the beginning of a communist rule if everyone then, or a majority, votes for communism. But communism is not a form of democracy. Communism is, like fascism, a big state system, and both of those can be implemented using democracy, but you can't have democracy within a communist system, and you can't have it in a fascist system either. So this is important. So democracy is a method, and communism is an ideology. Fascism is an ideology. So yeah, socialism is an ideology. So on. I'm not trying to be mean here, but it's important to understand that communism is absolutely not democracy. So yeah, and I shouldn't have to say this, but the USA is a democracy. It is a constitutional republic using the democratic process to elect people to represent the people. This is I know there are some Americans who don't like to hear that, but that's how it is. And Norway, by the way, is a constitutional monarchy using the democratic system. So, but enough about that. So, yeah. Well, we can talk about this. We can talk about this all day long. And I think that Um, I think that the most important thing here is that we never forget these people, who they were, who they are. They must never be trusted. Because there will be a new big thing, right? There will be a new big thing in the future, and people tend to forget. So make notes and remember, just as you should have, maybe you did, made notes during COVID, which people were in favor of imprisoning the unvaccinated like myself, right? Who? We know that because we remember. Some of these talk show hosts, they did that, the Biden administration in Norway, Erna Solberg, the former prime minister. And I'm going to say this again, she should be in prison. Now, I'm saying that a lot now, but it is the truth. It is the truth. They put people in prison when they arrived in Norway. They didn't call it a prison. They called it, I can't remember, but they had to stay there for 2 weeks. That was unconstitutional. They would, after COVID, after that, it was decided that that was wrong. It was unconstitutional to do that in Norway. Yeah, quarantine. Sorry, yeah, quarantine. It comes from the plague in Italy comes from 40, the number 14, because they were put on that island outside of an island in outside of Venice, I believe, for 40 days. Adam is asking, Norway has the constitution? Yes. I don't know where this comes from, but I mean, if not all, then almost all countries have a constitution, of course. Norwegian constitution, we celebrate the Norwegian constitution every year. That's our national day of celebration, Yeah. Yeah, Grundloven, exactly. So, yeah, okay. I'm going to have my breakfast now, and I encourage everyone to keep be alert. Be alert, because we should not be too surprised if at some point in the future suddenly no mainstream media is talking about this anymore. If that happens, you know that someone has decided that this needs to go away. That's so wonderful. The Don Langdon, favorite part of the day, watching Uncle Bjorn while having breakfast. Awesome. Yeah, I wish I could have a more positive thing to talk about here. We will get back to that, but right now, this is important to talk about, I think. Okay. John, did you ever get your hunting knives back from Britain? No, they took only one knife from me in the UK, and I never got it back. No. So, okay. Yeah. It was a tiny, tiny little knife. Which so taking that little bushcraft knife from me, I'm sure that made the streets much safer in England. Yeah. So, okay. That's all for now. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll talk later.